Well, oh well. Temperature's getting up, but the snow's only turning into ice. My baby likes it out here. My other baby don't. I rode in this a couple years ago. I got about right here and the tower is just spinning. I got a video, I'll put the link in the description. I do remember a few days after that though, even that same day I got on the road, once I hit the asphalt, it was all good. But today is a different story. All this stuff right here, I would just be slipping and sliding. I basically have to push the bike. Push the bike all the way up here. I know because I've done it before. Then I want to reach, well actually this is worse than it was last time I rode in this. I'm about the same. Once I reach that point, I'm all good. But it can wait. Today's supposed to be like 48 degrees. Hey Siri, what's the temperature? It's probably like 28 right now. Last I checked, it was 25. So not a good day for riding, even though I really want to. I'll be patient. Yesterday I stopped at the Walmart. Well, it wasn't Walmart. No, I stopped at the auto store right up the street. The Advanced Auto. To see if they had any salt to help melt this ice. And they didn't have any. They said they ran out on the first day that it snowed. And they'd be surprised if I find any. I figured that was about right. My guess was the snow would melt before I find any ice or salt, so it's melted in most places except we're down here in the shaded valley. But when I stopped at the auto store yesterday, I said, well, since I'm here, let me take a look at the oil. It's about time for oil change. The last time I changed was around 500 miles, and right now we're about close to 800, I think. And when I changed the oil, pop in a new spark plug. I've been using that E3. Had a lot of success with it, but I'm starting to have some worries about that. So I may switch it up to one of those 8D or DRN8A EAA. You know what I'm talking about. So today, I'm not even going to bring the Hawk outside. I'm going to try to change the oil indoors. I have been using the Castor Oil Racing Oil 20W50, and I went to grab another quart of that at the auto store up the street just yesterday, and I looked at the price. It was $10.99. I thought it may be a little bit more than that, considering it was like the same price at Walmart. Well, anyway, it was $10.99. I looked at the other oils on the shelf because it's like that selection was mainly 20W50 or either motorcycle oils. They were all motorcycle oils, like a row of maybe 4 different types of motorcycle oil. One was a 10W40. I think that was a Valvoline also. It could have been a castor oil. And so I thought it was a castor oil when I got this one because I saw the motorcycle thing on the front. I was like, oh, this is the regular version, not the racing version. I didn't even realize until just tonight it was like the Valvoline Blue that I've been using, except it says specifically motorcycle 4-stroke. I was in a hurry. It says excellent wet clutch protection. I'm sure some of you guys have tried this before. Designed specifically for motorcycles, formulated in the specific needs of 4-stroke motorcycles. I saw this, it was $3. I think it was like $3.15, something like that. $3.15. It was 3 of them on the shelf. I got 2 of these, and I got the spark plug, and all that cost me, I think, about $10. Just around $10. So 2 quarts of oil and a spark plug for $10. The other stuff, the castor oil racing oil, was $10.99, and then there was another version of this. There was a 10W40. I think that could have been castor oil, and that was $4.15. I started to get all of them. Like, man, I get all this motorcycle oil. But I didn't want to be greedy, so I just got this one. And the E3 spark plug. This Diamond Fire electrode, they show like a commercial with this plasma and everything. And I read someone's forum where they were talking about someone's comments, and they were saying that it's a cold spark plug and it doesn't burn off the heat from the engine like it should, or the initial fumes from the engine, condensation or whatever, because it doesn't get hot quick enough and things like that. And I've heard it burn off the cylinders, and I've actually seen some cylinders that were burned out and they had the spark plug in there and the tip was burned out, all three of those electrodes. And I think it happens when you do like a really hard or long trip on your bike with this spark plug in there and it's running lean. I was just looking on a forum and they had a list of all the different spark plugs people were using, and that's probably where this list originated from. Besides looking up an option for the original spark plug, I came up with I made this list like over a year ago. NGK DR8EA. But you can find other versions of that almost anywhere. That's how I ended up with this one. It has it on there directly. NGK NPR8EA as a replacement. And some of these other ones that you can use. So it's supposed to be a 19mm depth. This doesn't have a specific depth on it. But apparently the ones with the longer depth do a better job of burning off the heat, or creating the proper amount of heat to burn off the exhaust fumes. So we're going to try this one. The most problem I see with people having these is when they get them, they're like, oh, how do I put it on there? Mine doesn't have that thing, and I can't get the tip on there. Well, this electrode, this just screws off. You can screw it off. You might try to pull it off, you're just going to rip the threads. It does pull off though. You can just screw it off like a normal counterclockwise, and then your spark plug will just slide right on there. And looking at the spark plug, I mean, you can see a little bit tanning around the edges. It looks fairly good. We're gonna go ahead and change that. Can you see my X Pro underneath the? People wanted to say they take off the branding. That's one way to do it. Just cover it up with vinyl decals. Every time I change my oil, I make a mess. So right now we have on the Hawk 752 miles. I think I put the spark plug in here right about, I put this oil in here right about 500 miles. Anyway, I think it's a good time to change it. We've run a few heat cycles through it. Probably about maybe 4 or 5 months of riding. We got a little tray here to help me keep from making a mess. My oil pan is outside in the garage, probably with some oil in it or something, so I'm going to do the old-fashioned box with some plastic bags around it to catch the oil. Hopefully that works. Don't make too big of a mess, just in case I got some sand waiting for me outside. I'm going to go with the exact quart this time, and I probably should be doing it from the other side, the filter side, but last time I did that, the filter was absolutely clean. I expect the same thing this time. It's way low. I haven't added any oil. And I noticed a drip. Probably dripping because the plug was loose. It's only going up about, it should be 50%. We're looking at about 10 to 15% level. You see that from the angle? Really up to right here. And it's been sitting here all day, and I don't see any drips from today. So it's not dripping constantly. But over here where it was sitting for a few days, you see a few drops. So over a period of about 3 or 4 months, I've lost that oil. It still runs great, but we're gonna go ahead and change it today. Let's see how much we drain out of there. That'll give us a better indication. If nothing comes out, we know we messed up. I know it's gonna be a little tight. Get this at the right angle. Let's see. Oh, that's tightening. Okay. But upside down, you have to make sure you go in the right direction before you start really putting that pressure on it. I've done that before, tightened it up when I thought I was loosening it. Okay. We don't want to get too messy. Let's go ahead and take this oil drain plug off. So without going out, being able to get out and ride, because the conditions are bad, it's a good time to do some of the other needed maintenance. Can you imagine if I just kept on riding and didn't bother changing the oil? Just I'm gonna wait till it gets to, let's say, a certain amount of mileage, and I would probably ruin something by then. I'm gonna make sure this oil drain plug is nice and tight next time. It's pretty dark. Not too bad. It's really hard to tell unless you get into the light. You can see the color of it. It's pretty dark. It's the darkest it's ever been. Since I paid $10 a quart for that oil, I wanted to make sure I got some good use out of it. Yeah, you could tell it was low. It usually drains for a lot longer than that. That's at least a half quart. It could be almost a whole quart. Got the slow drain going on now. So this is where you need to lift the bike up and let more of that oil drain out. Oh, I scratched my finger on something. Like I had that glove on. I think it was, yeah. I gotta get rid of that sharp edge there. Don't like that sharp edge. It's really sharp. I think I'll bend it backwards with the needle nose. Since we haven't changed it for a while, we're not gonna take the filter off. I'm gonna let it drain for quite a while, get all that oil out of there. So what else is up? So looking at the Hawk, with it being just lowered slightly in the back, the profile looks nice. It looks nice and even. It doesn't look too high in the front like some of them I see. And just to change it to a 19-inch front tire, I've been dreaming about it since I thought about it. I'm not the first person who thought about it. I was looking at the forums and people have been thinking that kind of thing for at least a few years. Since the Hawk came out, people have been thinking of doing that. And what normally makes people to change their mind is when they start looking at the cost of the hub. Finding the hub is one thing, and then the cost of the rims, that's discouraging. You're looking at 100 to 150 bucks for a 19-inch rim, even 170 to 200, even more for just a rim alone. And then you have to match everything up properly, get the proper diameter. It's going to fit in there nicely. Match up your spokes. It's going to be a task in itself. And the thing is, you have people with the 19-inch, they want a 21-inch. People with the 21-inch want a 19-inch. People with the 17 want a 19. People with the 19 want a 17. It's like, the thing is, if you want one bike, you want another bike. I'm pretty happy with this bike. There's no reason for me to change it except for I decided I wanted to do it. And now it's kind of like an obsessive compulsive thing to where I'm like, I keep thinking of options, and I even thought about maybe I'll just do a 17 and I'll do a 14 on the back. start getting to the ridiculous thoughts, you know what I mean? And the best thing to do all around would just be to leave it like it is. That'd be the best thing to do. But this is another option. I've already started the idea, so I'm going to continue with it. The thing is, you know, plan it out. You don't have to do everything at once. I've even seen people make a partial. That's why you see rims, use rims on the market, because people start the process and then they can't finish it up. So, even if you have to do a little bit at a time, just go ahead and make sure when you get started that you plan on following through with it. The oil looks pretty black to me. Let's look at that in the light. Yeah, it feels like a quart. So it wasn't too low. I ran it low like that at one point anyway. Almost. Okay, reversed order. No reason to make a long ass task out of this, right? Let's just get this drain plug back on here. This is one of the easiest things you can do to maintain your bike. I think I just noticed something. Wow. This nut right here, it came loose. I haven't done the Loctite thing, but this is one thing I probably wouldn't have Loctite it anyway. I was always thinking to myself, I haven't Loctite anything and no bolts have come loose. And then I think about a couple, mainly the stuff that have added on after. On the handlebars, those things come loose. This thing right here come loose. I looked at a new one, that's $9 to replace that thingy. I'm gonna get it because I have the other one and it just looks good and it matches those other things. So yeah, I'm gonna have to spend another $9. I'll wait till I have to get something else. Oh yeah, so look at this. I look at back here and this lever is for, wow. Is that the throttle cable adjustment screw? This is loose. This is there, look. It wasn't even attached, it was sitting there. All the way loose. It was probably about to be just hanging. It is, basically. It feels like a really tacky screw. Alright, so let me tighten up my throttle cable screw. I gotta lift it up a little bit. Clear that bolt to the engine cover. That's crazy. Guess it wasn't doing anything. Just holding the other thing in place. So like supporting nut. Have to get a wrench. Snug that down. That don't feel like it's gonna mess nothing up. I'll snug both of those down with the wrench. Yeah, I'll be learning more about the bike as time goes along. I spent a lot of time, just like I started learning about the tires. I just randomly ran across a video about the clutch. I'm pretty confident that I can replace some clutch plates. I see everybody wants to do that anyway. I'm pretty confident that I can probably do some adjustment on the front forks to either lower or raise it up some. Look at the height of the Hawk, it looks perfect. I mean, the symmetry. If I lower it to 19, I was thinking, I wasn't even sitting, I was dreaming about it. I was thinking if I lower it to 19 in the front, it probably will feel better, like almost like a Supermoto. It'll have like more like a TT level. Instead of a 1717, be like a 19 or 1817 or 1819, a little bit higher up. It's like a Enduro, Dual Sport, or whatever. Another option would be like 1715, but we already decided on a 19. And that's just going to be an extra tire. The thing is, finding it in black is difficult for a good price. If you want it in black, you're going to pay almost like 50-60% more. So while I'm here, let me ask you guys, if I have to get another color besides a black front rim, should I get red or should I get gold? It's really a hard decision. I was thinking red kind of matches the stuff I already have on there. The gold looks good, but I'm thinking with this bike, probably not. But I like the yellow decals I might put back on there, that I will put back on there. I probably have to go with the red, or maybe I'll just pay a little bit more and go with the black. Red or black, let me know. So I gotta tighten this back up. Okay, it's snug. Now let's try to give it like a quarter turn. Yeah, that's snugger than ever. I wanna make sure it don't leak again. It's pretty, not even a quarter turn, but I snugged it up really tightly. I probably could use a torque wrench for that. All right, we got our new oil. So you guys were down here with me before when I was putting the decals on, and I'm down here in the man cave with the furnace coming on in the background, so you'll probably hear all the blowing air. And last time I couldn't find my lapel mic. Looks like on the level, you can see on the level, it's up past the 3rd mark. It's like right there. I know it's been jiggling around everything, but even with the oil settling, you would assume that it's not like terribly low. You know, it's up to the 3rd mark, so it's up higher than it looked like in that glass. It was up higher. So I probably lost maybe a few drops, just like it looked like I lost. I need a funnel for this.